Good morning, video games. Welcome to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games hosted by three very kind and extremely knowledgeable boys. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Tommy Dassalo, and joining me as per usual,
it's Vernel here, paranoid about my recorder dying, so I will be glancing to my right, screen left on the video of this episode, just hoping and praying that red light is staying on. And a man who loves a red light district, it's...
I don't know who you're talking about, but I'm here. My name's Adam Knox. I hate red lights. I'm like the opposite of a lizard. They freak me out. They don't calm me down.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not paranoid about anything dying because I accept that we all have to one day.
The circle of life. Mm-hmm. It involves...
I'm zen, baby.
So, guys, it's Summer Games Fest, of course. I'm on the road. I'm doing some roving reporting for us from the Summer Games Festival. I'm not near where any of the announcements have happened, but I am in a summer climate. So I've kind of like mentally got myself out of the seasonal depression, and I'm in a climate that is more realistic for the Summer Games Festival, but I'm also too busy to have really kept up with any of the news. So take that how you will.
Hello, Tommy. I'm pushing my finger against a full-sized pair of headphones so that I can hear myself clearly while I rovingly report here too. I've just gotten news that this entire time it's existed, and this is true, it's always been called Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, so just one game.
The festival of game. Like, it would be a music, but music is a plural too.
Yeah.
News just in as well. The Xbox Showcase is not affiliated with the Summer Games Fest, but does take place in summer. More to come.
Roving report
doing
here.
like a lot of
guys, roving report here from Ben Vernel. His show got cancelled in the early 2000s. He tried to come back on Channel 10 with sort of more of a panel format. I think Justin Hamilton was involved. Cam, James, and Becky Lucas were on it. And that was cancelled after 2 episodes. Okay, that's been my roving.
Daryl Summers, reporter, coming in here. Hey, it's Saturday. Originally cancelled in 97 or 98, brought back in 2010, and was the funniest it's ever been for one specific segment that I loved.
I watch daily. I get up every morning. I watch that segment. Well, I was going to say, a lot of music blogs that I follow, they'll do like in August or July or so, they'll do like a thing where they're like, what was the song of the summer? What was the like ubiquitous, inescapable song of the summer? We should start doing that. We should get to August and go, guys, what was the game of the summer? What was the one game that everyone was staying inside playing?
I'm on the ones and twos here. I'm a switched on radio DJ. I'm predicting the game of the summer will be a hit from a big artist called From Software. They're here with a new cut off of their a remixed version of their previous LP Elden Ring. It's called Shadow of the Erd Tree.
It's a B-side that they've released as a single? Is that what DLC is? I don't know. Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
It's a pretty long... There's multiple Drake disses in it if you consider killing a dragon with a sword to be a Drake diss.
I do. So it's the song... Sorry, the game of the summer is something that's out, not something that's been announced. Because summer, as we know, it is the festival of game, but it's game announcement. It's not game plays.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
Yeah.
Should it be the most hyped game, or should it just be, like you say, Knox, the only game that is coming out in the next couple of weeks?
That's true. If music worked the same way games do, like all the Song of the Summer stuff would be Daft Punk coming out in the summer of 2013 being like, big things coming up in November, guys. Get ready to be quite lucky.
Yeah.
They really did go video game style with that announcement. They dropped like a 12-second trailer at Coachella, just a little hype reel, no gameplay, just cutscenes of Get Lucky. Hard to really get a vibe for what it was.
Well, I think the song of the summer will be that one by those Irish kids that goes, I doubt it. And one of the games of the summer might get announced next week. We're not done with all of these presentations yet. We'll talk about the Summer Game Fest. We'll talk about, it's impossible to say Game Fest for me. It's logged in my brain as games, plural, but I'll do my best.
It's as if he also called it the Games Awards. It's just, it doesn't sound right. It doesn't
Yeah.
sound... Maybe that's what he's done. He's gone like, I just say game. In the titles of all of my things, it's game.
Well, Jeff's Keighley has gotten it wrong this time, but we'll talk about Summer Games Fest. We'll talk about the Xbox showcase. There was also like Ubisoft and Devolver and the PC gaming show and some other ones that maybe a bit or two from. But next week, I think, so it seems like Among Us has leaked the date of the next Nintendo Direct by mistake. They posted something, I think, without really thinking about the implications of it. It seems like, I think they've since deleted it and privated the video or whatever, saying like sneaky news coming June 18th, but then people figured out that it was going to be shown at the Nintendo Direct, and so June 18th probably for a Nintendo one as well.
All right.
This is the summer that's going to last forever, boys, until we find that dead body by the river.
Railroad. So that's a week away. That's exciting. We'll have some more content for next week. But yeah, like you said, Knox.
Beautiful.
Xbox Showcase, which I think was pretty interesting. I also think they've always done interesting showcases, so let's wait until everything comes out. I actually didn't watch any of these live. A lot of was one of them a reasonable time for us? Did you actually tune into them?
I watched two of them. One because I woke up at an unreasonable time because my bladder has gotten unreasonable the older that I get.
Nice.
But that works in Xbox's favor. So I watched Xbox Live, and then Summer Game Fest was at like 6:45 a.m. for us. Not too bad.
Yep.
And I was up and watching that one, which I think kind of made that time sort of an awkward time globally. Like it was like the middle of a work day in LA where it was, and so on. But that was the first one chronologically, and I did watch it live. Do you want to go through a couple of the big hitters from that, the highlight reel?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it.
I refuse now. I don't want to. Now that I know you want to do it, it turned on my contrarianism.
Shit.
Hey, Tommy.
Yeah.
This one, I reckon, is pretty... I think this is a Tommy game. I think that you're going to be pretty excited about this one. The one they rolled off out of the chocks with Lego Horizon Adventures.
Not only am I not interested in this, I actually feel like it is such a slight on my personality that you would see something like this and think that it is. If that's the kind of image that I'm putting out, that is... I need to do some serious work on myself.
Interesting that a man whose office is filled with Lego would push back so hard.
Well, I'm interested in this too because it's one of those things where it's sort of weird, and that makes me interested in it. I wouldn't have thought of it happening. I liked Horizon 2 especially. I've not been such a big fan of the Lego games, but I like the way they end up looking, how everything's built of Lego. What a cool idea.
That's crazy.
But this is such a strange one.
Yeah, because the other Lego games, when they do like that it's like typically it's like a movie property so you're getting like the Lego version of that, but then you're also getting like a cool just video game version of that property, which doesn't always exist. You know what I mean? So like... the idea of just this being like a kind of a Lego-fied version of like an existing game franchise, it just seems kind of weird to me. Like I can understand it being like, oh, this is a version of the Horizon world that my younger kid could interact with, but I sort of don't. It's also coming out on the Switch too, which is immediately quite strange.
That's the thing for me where. I don't know if it's the first Sony published game on a Nintendo thing. I doubt that. Those baseball ones have gotten around a bit, and there's probably something else, but nothing major. But this is, and also I don't think this is technically a Sony game, possibly. I'm actually not sure who is developing this and who does each of the Lego games, but this is a Sony property.
It's one of their IPs that's in their big logo thing that comes up at the front of their movies and the games now. Like it is very much one of their brands. So it kind of seems strange to again I get wanting to sort of spread the franchise out a bit, and if you publish it the audience of the Switch is probably more in line with wanting a Lego game, so it kind of does make sense. But it is also weird to like not be a little more protective of these characters that you've got under your umbrella.
I'm into it, and they're putting out the TV show whenever that happens. I'm not sure if there's a time frame for that. And Lego has done at least one Horizon set that the tall neck.
Yeah, you've got it.
So it all it technically all makes sense, but it still comes across as super weird. We had a Harry Potter Quidditch game that to me looked like shit. We had
I don't know how that works as a game. It's like, I mean, I know that it is a sport, but it's like, and people play it in real life, but I don't know. Because it's like you got the golden snitch, you just go for that. The game of Quidditch is flawed, in my opinion.
I showed this to Lauren, and she said,
I
showed this to Lauren, and she said, "This looks like shit. Why does it look so cheap?" And I was like, "Fuck! Every day she becomes more and more of a gamer. It's beautiful."
Yeah. I mean, it does. It has that mobile art style that we'll probably end up talking about a few other times during this thing.
Just quickly, I don't think I've mentioned yet. I'm in Koh Samui, and there's a lot of weed dispensaries here, and a lot of them have gaming setups in there, so you can get your edibles or whatever, smoke a joint, and then just like. Because I think technically you're allowed to buy it, but you're not allowed to consume it like out in public. So it's like hang out here, smoke your joint, and then play some FIFA or whatever. And I said to Lauren, you know what you probably could do? You could get on that PlayStation. You could log into my account and get your Harry Potter save off the cloud.
Oh, yeah.
And then you could sit there and have a joint and pick up your Hogwarts Legacy save. And she was like, genuinely, I think I'm going to do that.
It's so great to travel.
I know.
Yes, will be a hard thing to translate that three-dimensional movement into a game. Something called Cuff Bus by the guy who did Choo Choo Charles, which I didn't think one thing or another about. I'll skip over some of these because there have been a lot of announcements, so we don't need to spend too much time on things we're not interested in.
We can't do a 3-hour episode, so yes.
Sid Meier's Civilization 7 got announced in this, although that was post the banner getting uploaded to their official website too early by mistake, so people knew about it. And it was just like a cinematic traveling through a sort of pretend diorama of all these historical battles and whatever. But cool.
I'm keen for it, but without any indication of, because they've obviously tweaked the gameplay significantly between entries, and it's like, you'll not like 6, but you'll love 3 still. So without knowing what they're doing with it, don't know.
Yeah, for anyone watching the video as well, you can probably tell the moment I became self-conscious of the size of the huge water bottle I was drinking out of on camera just then too. I wonder if that's visible. Yes, it's one of those ones as well where I get the impression with 5 and 6 people felt, maybe even 4, I've not really been big into the Civilization games before, but that because they release so many expansions between full entries, people feel that sometimes with these sorts of games, they actually take a step back when they go to another major entry because some of that new stuff that got added in the expansions, it doesn't have the same scope that the full version of the previous game did, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And then, you wait 3 years and every expansion's 50% off on Steam and you just buy it then. So, yeah, 100%.
2025, that is, which will be, again, a lot, not a ton of solid release dates for a lot of this stuff, but some for some, and you'll find out which is what as we go. Some Street Fighter 6 DLC announced, more Dragon Ball stuff, a Fatal Fury game, and then I will say as well, watching it live, I didn't like this presentation as a presentation. I don't think with this and the Xbox One being so near to each other as well, it really is. It made it clear to me how much smoother and more interesting the format of going trailer, a couple of people talking for a moment is to that is preferable than what Summer Games Fest does, which is Jeff is all over it. They're showing which YouTubers are in the crowd. There's awkward sort of banter stuff. It doesn't work for me.
Same layout as a good caravan park. Trailer, a couple of people talking. Trailer.
Exactly.
The day this was on in the Discord for Hey Fam, a bunch of people were like getting ready to watch the Summer Game Fest, and Levins got in there and went, "Fellas, I am begging you to do literally anything else."
And that is huge news coming from a man who dedicates that much time to toy collecting. You've got to heed that warning.
Yeah. Do something valuable.
100% a joke if you're listening, Levins. Of course, as you know, because you're a smart man and you can tell when someone's being sarcastic. I'm not at all sarcastic when I say I like watching trailers for Monster Hunter Wilds.
Well, you're in luck. Because there has been heaps, and there's probably going to be some more. But yeah, I mean, it still looks great. We talked about it last week. Excited for this game.
Yeah, they showed another one, and another monster and some more gameplay and stuff, and then did say, and our next trailer will be at Gamescom in August. So they're really promoing here.
Oh, yeah. They're pushing it out. Too early to call it Game of the Summer.
Well, by quantity of trailers, exactly. It's probably in the lead.
Yeah. In terms of, if we're going on the Song of the Summer thing of like the sheer ubiquity of how much you're like seeing and hearing it around, it's making a play for it.
Yep.
This is the equivalent of how Taylor Swift will put out 36 different versions of her album so that she gets 1 through 10 on the charts.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Wilds the greatest poet of our generation. Metaphor Fantasio had some more stuff. I think that game looks cool as shit. Yeah. And the only problem I have, it's out October 11th on even on the PS4 apparently. The only problem I have with it is that it's made me not want to play Persona 3 Remake. Because this is coming up so soon.
Yeah. A lot of the same stuff. I mean, that will be interesting to see how it distinguishes itself from the Persona games. I mean, obviously, the setting is a sort of completely different thing to what, the settings of the Persona games being based around high school students and stuff. But mechanically, if there's much difference to it, because it does look, gameplay-wise, it does look very similar. It does look like a very Persona-ass game.
Right. I mean,
it'll be very funny if
Shin Megami Tensei, which is Persona in a fantastical setting. So I mean, but
which has another that Vengeance one is coming out in like a couple of weeks.
Yep.
It'll be very funny if either of you guys or me ends up really not liking Metaphor and coming to realize, like, I guess we just like Degrassi.
Yeah.
I guess it's just the high school part. A really long and uncomfortable, and I didn't enjoy it segment with some people from Blumhouse Games. You might know the name. It was like the producer of they make horror movies, Blumhouse. It was a
Blum.
producer guy. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
His house, I understand. Just this big Hollywood big shot coming out on stage. Nice. And I don't know, man. They showed a series of games that they are publishing. They're setting up a horror game publishing company. Yeah,
showed like 4 or 5, right? And they're all, I think, they were like keen to be like, they're all different. They're not all like asynchronous multiplayer games. They're not all, choose your own adventures. Like there's a good variety. And like a lot of their movies are good. I think they produce like Invisible Man and, like a bunch of pretty sick horror movies. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes a fair bit of sense. Like, me not liking this segment is purely about the presentation of the segment, because these games all did look pretty different. It took me a second to peg that, like, these are 6 different games, because I thought it was one game with wildly different art styles, like Indica or something.
Right.
It is not. It's a series of games. One of them from Sam Barlow, who did Immortality.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So keep an eye on that. A sudden, it's out tomorrow, drop of the Alan Wake 2 first DLC pack, Night Springs. I haven't played that yet, but I'm keen to.
Yeah, you loved that game.
Alan Wake 2 is a good game. Phantom Blade Zero could be. They showed that too. It's another sort of soulsy slashy type of game.
Yeah.
It didn't stand out a ton, to be honest.
Was this another medieval Asian country one, or was this more of a like fantastical one?
The former.
Okay. Yep.
So we've got a million of them.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little. I'm skimming it now. It's very, forgettable looking, I think, personally.
I agree with you personally.
In a
So
business sense, I concur.
How about personally, or do you want to keep that out of the boardroom?
Yeah, that's private.
Fair enough. I've
Very
overstepped my my bounds, and I will resign effective immediately.
Yep, HR will be in touch.
Which stands for Henry Rollins, who no relation, and he will also he's our hitman who we send after people who bother us. Slitterhead. A game with the most disgusting possible name is still coming out. That's on November 8th. They showed some gameplay. It's a horror game from ex-Silent Hill people, and I don't know, man. Didn't look.
You see this name written down, you're like, should I say that out loud? Am I? Is this cool?
Again?
Cool
this is an HR problem. It's.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Rollins is busy.
everyone. I guess everyone in the Western world didn't be like, hey, you guys might want to change the name of that. I guess it's like not as off sounding in Japanese, but
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This is like it didn't grab me, but hey, it might turn out to be fun.
Yeah. Well, Face will be out later. Dune Awakening is the
MMO?
yes, and they showed like some story stuff. It's set in a world like an alternate Dune world where Paul Atreides was never born, is I believe the case.
Oh yeah.
And so things change in whatever direction that would change them. I don't know what direction that is.
A world without Paul. Imagine, if you will, a world without Paul.
Everyone walking around being like, everything feels pretty similar to me.
No, he was the
don't know if
chosen
there's
one. He was the chosen one, guys. It's like a world without Jesus Christ. And can you imagine that? Well,
hey, listen, John
sign
Lennon.
up to the beta test for my new MMO. A world without Jesus.
Getting to play as John Lennon in that would be pretty cool. There was a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, sort of similar to that Ninja Turtles game. A Tommy game, if you will.
Is this the same? Beat 'em up.
Is this the same people that did that? I think it is, right?
Could be. Digital Eclipse is who they are. Was that the Turtles people?
Yeah.
It'd be weird if it was a second group, I will say.
Yeah. It does look... I don't know. It looks cool. I was never a big Power Rangers guy, but I like what they're doing with the style of it. It's got some like kind of some like what do you call it? Shmup sort of sections. Yeah, this looks nice.
Those like Shredder's Revenge was a different company. Tribute Games made Shredder's Revenge.
Right. These guys did do the Cowabunga collection though.
Okay.
Yep.
So there's some turtle connection there.
That's
but
weird.
yeah, it looked just like that. It's a throwback arcade beat 'em up with, you're right, like some Mode 7 like camera behind the back things that I also thought looked cool.
Right.
A game that's name is kind of hard to say with an Australian accent, not Slitterhead. Can.
It's kind of not, because it's the name of a city in Australia. So like, I guess the impulse is to pronounce it like we pronounce the city in our botched, shitty accent.
Yeah. It's just that I think that's the problem. Is it's like there's a game called Toowoomba, but it's trying to it thinks that its name is quite artistic.
Yeah.
Right.
A game called Toowoom, which not a bad name for a game. Better than Slitterhead.
Yeah, not at all.
Can is that mountain climbing game. Looked a bit like
Jusant. Yeah.
Jusant.
Very similar, in fact. Jusant was great. It was kind of a short game as well. So, like, if you did get into it, hey, another similar game, great. But also,
it looks pretty nice.
Talked about this before. Like, it's plagiarism or like just unintentional plagiarism or just doing exactly the same thing as someone else. That's not a problem with games. But yeah, this looked fun.
Yeah. Could be parallel thinking, parallel in the sense that they're both like vertically climbing up the same mountain, then they get to the top and they're like, fuck! Who got here first? Jasont? Damn it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
One that I thought looked like it could be cool. I'm not the world's biggest Stanley Parable fan, but I appreciate what they're going for with it. And the people behind Stanley Parable are making a game called Wonder Stop, which is this... It looks as though there will be some twist or extra element to this because it showed a hint towards that in the trailer. But the basic part of it is like the sort of cute potion making. You live in this hut and you've got a town and you're making these cute potions and you've got to collect resources and it's all cozy game type shit. With, I would imagine it looks like layer on top of that that would be in line with the type of thing, not the same exact type of narration and whatever, but the sort of attitude of the Stanley Parable of like, let's mess with the conventions, baby.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I hope so, because it did not grab me at all, and it looks kind of boring. So, hey.
I think the fact that it appeared to me as though it will be using this type of game to make its parody-based jump off of is the thing that's interesting to me, because I do agree that this type of cozy game thing has become weirdly one of the most cynical areas of games in terms of, like, not that I play many of them, but there are a lot of Me Too, hey, I'm here as well. Hey, look at me. I'll throw my hat in the ring type of ones there.
Yeah. But yeah, I completely missed that this was was that developer. So, that's cool.
Like a guy who runs around and rips off stormtrooper helmets, the Stanley Parable guys love to mess with conventions.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was worth interrupting you for that, Tommy. Admit it.
Speaking of a twisted take on a familiar format, Sonic X Shadow Generations.
The unbelievable pop that this got in the room was
really
utterly bizarre to me and had to speak to employees being there surely.
I don't know. Sonic's back in a big way.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sonic is the sound of last summer. Because it was, I guess, last summer was between 1 and 2.
I think you're forgetting about our man Knuckles.
I'm not forgetting about Knuckles. That was, that was what, like a month ago? There's a bunch of
going concern.
Fucking Sonic shit around, and people have bought into the advertising, and they remember this from their childhoods, I guess. So is this a remaster of a game, or is this like some new ass thing?
I think it's both. I think it's like a kind of like a do-over of that Sonic Generations game, adding in Shadow, and then a whole bunch of new shit kind of around him.
Okay. Did you guys have any plans for Generations?
Never played it.
Never played it, but it is one of the few, modern Sonic games that people have a fondness for and say is like an actually good one.
Okay.
And I don't really like Shadow, but this does look good. It looks, it's mostly, the whole conceit of the original one is that Sonic goes back in time and there's like classic little squat-looking Sonic, and then and he's doing the 2D left to right levels, and then there's like modern Sonic doing the like Crash Bandicoot-y, like kind of quasi 3D levels.
I think that's why there's a fair bit of fondness for this game, is because it was one of the ones that resets the cycle going, Sonic's back, and hey, here's all the classic stuff, and we get it. We get it now. Not now we figured out why people like Sonic from 91. Oh, I get it now. And then they didn't.
Yep.
By how it seems to me. I saw some stuff the other day that I haven't verified in any way at all.
Okay.
But I'm willing to put my roving reporter finger to my ear. Adam Knox, roving reporter here. Apparently in the original version of Shadow the Hedgehog, he swore heaps. And there are recordings of Shadow swearing his head off.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah. That's yeah. I think that is
a bad guy.
Fuck you, Sonic. They 100% should have done that. Sonic, you're a slitterhead.
You're a little cunt, Sonic.
Fuck you, Sonic. Sonic! Fucking shithead, fuck you. Ow, fuck, I fucking stubbed my fucking toe. It would come across like that. Like when a teenager starts being confident enough to swear a bunch, he'd be like,
Funny
fuck,
how?
my fucking milk
Funny
is
like I'm a
fucking
clown.
warm.
Like I'm only here to fucking amuse you? No, I didn't say it. I don't know. You tell me. I didn't fucking say it. Funny how?
Sonic's a big fucking boy, all right? Well, not that one. He's the smaller one from the 90s. Hyper Light Breaker, Valorant. Some stuff that, we sort of knew about or looked bad. I'll skip over a little bit. Delta Force Hawk Ops, unless you really want to stop and talk about Delta Force Hawk Ops for a while.
Don't know what it is, sorry.
Hawk Ops are the ones who go out on the street and do.
That's real Shadow the Hedgehog stuff, Adam. You can't.
Fuck you, Dad. Some game called Never that was by the people who did Gree, which was that sort of pretty good looking. I don't think I ever played it. 2D art style, very similar sort of 2D painted kind of look. Sure.
Yeah.
And some CG trailer stuff for Black Myth Wukong. And then a tiny little bit of Kunitsugami, which is that other Capcom one that's coming out that looked like a completely different type of game than what I thought it was. It was like this sort of isometric group combat thing with areas of effect drawing out of where he was pushing the button or something. No idea what this is, but it's out July 19th.
I guess we'll find out then.
Yeah.
Like a tactical strategy game?
Yeah, this
Hard to tell, honestly, from the footage of this. I'd assumed from when we'd seen this previously. You know the one I'm talking about, right? Like the colorful one from Capcom that was like, it's called Kunitsugami. Very, very cool. I think you guys said it looked like Okami to you previously.
This does look. Yeah, I'm skimming this now, and I agree with you, Adam. I have a vague memory of this being announced, and it looks good, but it looks kind of different to what I remember. Did we maybe only see like a CG thing before or something?
We haven't seen gameplay before, for sure.
Right. Well, yeah, Capcom are, they're really on one at the moment. So, and like them, having a go at a new thing, new IP, looks like it could be cool.
For sure, and like I'm more interested now, to be honest. It is a strategy action game, and I had assumed from how it looked that it was just like a character action thing or a Soulsy type thing. So this is cool. There's something a bit different.
Yeah.
The game of the summer.
You can pre-order it now.
Just called it.
All right. I guess I have to.
This one's also on PS4, which I guess makes sense. It's like, it's not going to be overly taxing.
It looks good, like artistically, but yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the summer. Then the summer ended, and 4 days later, the green spring of Xbox started to spring. The beautiful green plants, the neon green, disgusting, like watered with Monster Energy drink color type grass started to spring up and bloom. Grass doesn't bloom.
No, it just grows. Before we move on, what out of Summer Games Fest stood out that we didn't already know about to you?
Honestly, kind of nothing.
Yeah,
it wasn't that great of a show.
Monster Hunter Wilds still is probably the most interesting thing out of that entire showcase, and yeah, like we said, we've seen it like twice before. So,
it is another great example of like you don't have to do one of these. If there's not like doing the announcement the week before and being like lower your expectations, it's like
right.
No one's forcing you to do this. Don't tell us to lower our expectations. Just like, don't be like, hey, I'm putting on a thing that I don't have to put on that's not going to be great. It's like, well, just don't worry about it then.
Well, we found out, I think did we discuss this last week on the show or just personally? Keely's getting like 500 grand from these developers to put these trailers in this showcase that is free to watch on YouTube. So, hey, why not do it if you hear him?
Yeah, good point. All right.
For 2.5 minutes, I think that was the amount, and it was like $350 for. I don't remember the exact amounts, and I also have no idea what to expect. This is the first time I'm seeing the docket. But yes, it's a lot of money, so it makes sense for him. But will Lego Horizon Adventures sell more because it was shown here? Because it was it was that Lego game because it's sort of weird. Civilization, which like I've not really played them before, but like cool. And people love them.
People are going to be playing Civ 7 regardless of it being in this.
The Alan Wake 2 DLC already being out is cool, but I haven't had a chance to play that yet. But we'll probably talk about it next week.
Yeah.
However, as I say, down goes the sun. No more sun for anyone. Yep. Only the giant moon with a huge X.
Fire up just
scratched across it.
Of the RGB lights.
The Xbox One, like you said before, Ben, they had a pretty like satisfying presentation. This is the most similar to me of how they've kept up the most of that old E3 type of vibe in their presentation.
Yep.
Some fairly a lot of this stuff we did already know about, as is the case with most Xbox games, because they announced a ton of them 4 years ago and haven't done much since with them. But it was cool to see, some new stuff and some progress. They showed the new Call of Duty for a bit, and that looks absolutely like a new Call of Duty game on October 25th. That'll be. And then, this was rumored about for a while, but I think it looks cool. Doom: The Dark Ages.
Yeah. I thought this looked fucking sick. I struggled to get into Doom Eternal, but I want to get into this because it looks awesome. It's such a great idea. It's such an interesting twist on what they've been doing with it. Looked awesome.
I think they've been really good at taking this old, this really old franchise and finding a way to sort of honor what was great about it originally on such different, technological hardware, but then bring new ideas to it that still feel like they fit into the whole legacy of it. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's weird to me because medieval looking Doom is what Quake was. So make this Quake the Dark Ages, you fucking cowards. But it does look cool. And I think, I don't think that was uncommon that people who... Did you like the 2016 Doom game,
I loved it. I fucking loved it, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
I think a fair few people fell into the... I ended up loving them both, but Eternal was definitely different.
Yeah.
And was a lot more... a lot going on and really, taxing in a way that the other Doom wasn't. And this seems to be another third change again.
Yeah.
Probably pushing back closer into the 2016 direction, but then its own thing, because you've got the main thing appears to be that you've got this big shield with saw blades around it now that you can throw like Captain America.
Yep.
And there were little clips of riding a dragon and stuff. And apparently, the double jump might be gone and the dash might be gone and that sort of stuff. So it might be slower, bigger arenas, more enemies, but with this, one specific tool to use in creative ways, possibly.
Well, if
2025.
If that means that they don't have any of those goddamn platforming sections in it, which are easily the worst bit of those games, especially Eternal, I found, because it's just mechanically not built for having to have the finesse of seeing where a platform is. I really struggled with those bits in the other games. So if they've kind of dialed that back a little bit.
How about you losers just get good? Fuck yeah, dude. That's so cool of you to say that. State of Decay. Sorry, I get a little emotional when talking about the State of Decay series. The beloved State of Decay 3 was shown, which I think people have also rumored for a little bit. It was jarring to see a bunch of zombies in this fashion. It felt very 2012 through 14 or whatever. Not that we can never use a zombie again, but it just rang a bit of that. But cool. I've not played the other ones.
I played, I think, 2. They're fine. They're very good at what they're doing. You just have to be interested in survival co-op fighting zombies. So
which plenty of people have been historically.
Yeah.
And if you are interested in having little quippy jokes with your friends, if you like having a fucking giggle, dude, but in a soft way. Dragon Age, the Veilguard. At least the trailer they showed here is very much been poisoned by the golden critical role chalice of so Dungeons and Dragons should be this exact thing for every application of it, film or game or anything, anyway, whatever. And this isn't Dungeons and Dragons, but this is a fantasy thing that just the tone in this trailer sucked is what I'm taking fucking 7 years to say.
People have compared it to Overwatch and character action games, 5v5 games, Fortnite. People have said this is reminiscent of, and like you say, it may just be the trailer, because I believe there was screenshots shown of
earlier today. They put up a 20-minute long gameplay trailer that gives a far better impression than this trailer does.
Right.
I do think this was an error in judgment of someone in a trailer production or marketing sort of department capacity. I don't know who would have done it, but it wasn't an appealing tone in a similar way to that Concord game from the PlayStation 1. Just that same sort of like, who are you trying to impress here? Boys at the back of the bus, shut up.
People who liked the Joss Whedon, writing, even when it was in the Marvel movies, have since stopped liking that. Like, this is not for
an awful lot
anyone.
of them.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's a shame because
stuff like
I was a big Dragon Age Origins fan, and I thought 2 was okay. Inquisition I did not love, but I was excited for this, and that trailer specifically turned me off it. But I haven't seen this gameplay stuff yet because I slept in. So I'll give it a watch and check it next week. But that is good to hear.
The gameplay one looks a lot more. I didn't play. I'm racking my memory here. Much of Dragon Age Inquisition, but this looks a lot more like what I had the impression of that game being. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a poor trailer, and the problem as well isn't like stuff like Critical Role and Dimension 20 and stuff like that are very fantasy comedy popular things. I think are done better than stuff like this that apes on that tone does as well. Right. That's the issue, is that it's not the tone blanket. Like, you can have people be funny and have camaraderie and be cartoonish characters and be cracking wise and whatever, but it's the hardest thing to pull off well. People don't realize how much fucking talent goes into even stuff that people deride now a bit more, like Guardians of the Galaxy. You've got to be at a fucking level above where the trailer for Dragon Age The Veilguard was.
Yeah, and it's got to come from like an interesting like place of the character. It's not like once you've got these sort of like blank template people just saying zingers that don't really connect to anything. That's that's I think that's the thing that people kind of think in their heads. Oh, it's easy to write because you just have a guy be snappy. But it's like, no, but they've got to be snappy in a way that feels like, real to like who that character is,
Yeah. Can't be
contrived. Fuck you, Sonic. Like, Shadow hates Sonic. That's why it's funny.
Well, personally, I don't like any joking
evil
around
Sonic.
or riffing. So none of that on the podcast, please. Let's get serious.
Now,
we're games journalists. We say that every time we do this podcast.
You're going to be devastated to hear this, but you're coming across as sounding quite sarcastic right now.
But see, that's his character. It works. It makes sense. It's funny when we do it. It's part of the established Ben Vernel canon. So he's a sassy little bitch.
The extended version of the Starfield LP that includes the B-sides, Starfield Shattered Space, had a little trailer. It is out this year at some point, and it looked like more Starfield, and you'll understand whether or not that excites you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same with Fallout 76, exact same situation. They're doing a bit more of that.
Yeah.
But now, I don't think anyone can know what they'll feel about this game yet. The full name being Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Oh, I think I know how I feel about it. I feel good. It basically looks like a Western-developed version of, like we were saying before, a Persona game, a Shin Megami Tensei. It has kind of taken a lot of that, at least the structure aesthetically of like Persona-ish stuff with like the sort of radial menus and like a lot of style and effort going into that interface stuff. Don't know, about the story and the characters and stuff, but like this did definitely get my attention.
I agree pretty much. I think I think it's French developed. It is like you say, turn-based RPG with a very different art style to Persona, though. Even though I agree that in terms of it being a turn-based RPG, it has a similar sort of, even the camera is at a similar level behind the characters and all that type of stuff.
Right.
But a much more an art style of their own.
Yes.
The premise is that there's some magic demon clock that every year counts backwards another year, and everyone of that age or above dies. I guess someone can't be above that age because they would have died previously. I was trying to figure this out mathematically in my head, and I don't think I'll be able to do it because we're all just monkeys, right? But and I'm dumb enough to not even say ape rather than monkey, so I'm one of the lesser apes. But if you took it back every year, right?
Yeah.
So say it starts at 40, whatever. Everyone who is 40 years old and over is dead.
Yep.
The next year, everyone who was 39 on their 40th birthday during that year, do they die? Because then the next year it goes to 39.
Yeah.
So then is everyone who was 38 the year before when it turned to 40, they then die in the 39 tick over. You know what I mean? So you've kind of actually not got that many years left. It's like half that number of years or something.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, I guess it would be... Would it be half? It would be unfair. It wouldn't just be like, now another year's passed and now a bunch of people, like that batch of people within a 12-month span die. Hey, if you're a mathematician, write in and let us know what would happen. How quickly?
And
how
hey,
quickly would people die?
You may even not have to be a mathematician, to be fair. You may,
if you're making this game and you know the answer, write in and let us know how it works.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump on Duolingo, learn some French, and call these guys up and just let them know that there might be a bit of a plot hole.
You asking this after having just seen the trailer for the game, it really does reek of like watching a movie with your partner, and in the first like minute and a half, she's like, "Who's he? Why is he doing that?" It's like, we'll find out. This will be like a quest in the game.
Hole.
We'll find out.
No, that doesn't make sense because Matt Damon was hanging out with Jack Nicholson at the start. So why is he a cop now?
Hey, just very quickly, can I say, just because we skimmed over Fallout 76 before, I told you guys this, but I found out the other night, I'm currently in the same city as Walton the Goggins. And, I am genuinely going to go do some field reporting for the show, and because I know they're here filming the White Lotus. That's public knowledge where they're filming. And someone I know went to go into the resort to like get a drink to see if they could just get a drink the other day, and they are closed for private event. So I'm going to go hang around the area and try and do some gog spotting.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Your friend getting turned away because they didn't want them to be there sure does sound like an opportunity for you to go and hang around more.
Not just the area around the resort, you know? Nice little lunch
Yeah,
down the
what?
street. Just,
What? I'm not even punching you. I'm just moving my fist. What?
No, I like it. You've
I'm
got
not even doing
hear,
anything.
Wait till you hear that someone with us has a drone that I was like, we got to try and get some set pics with the drone.
Absolutely.
If I fucking if I watch Lotus, if I watch that show, the third season of it, with my Porky Pig pants right off because I talk like him, so I may as well dress like him. If I watch season 3 of White Lotus and I see a single fucking drone in the background, even once, I'm coming around and drone striking your house.
The drone won't work where we currently are because we're too close to the airport, so they get disabled. So
I wonder if they thought about that.
But yeah, I'll try and get a Fallout Season 2 scoop from the Gog Man.
Sure. South of Midnight is the next one here. No Goggins involved, but some cool looking stop motion animation style involved still. This is that one who had the like big skeleton playing the guitar.
Yep.
I think this looks fucking awesome.
Weird.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm not sure about the choice of like in the cutscenes, it's all the low frame rate stuff, and then in the gameplay that they showed in this, it's then like a 60 frames action game, and that looked really jarring and I don't know. I'm not willing to say disappointment yet or whatever, but like, oh, that's odd.
Yeah. It's weird because her like I'm just looking at it now. Like her run animation is like very keyframey. Like she's not. Like the camera is moving very smoothly and the environment is moving past at 60 frames, but her animation is still kind of like stilted, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
Sort of. I think the like Miles Morales suit that you could wear in the Spider-Man games of like the Enter the Spider-Verse or whatever ones, across the Spider-Verse, around the Spider-Verse. In and around the Spider-Verse.
In and around the Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse's neck. Spider-Verse's crack. Spider-Verse's pussy.
Spider-Verse's slitterhead and their back. It's such a gross word.
Yeah.
It's not quite as effective as that. Yeah, I don't know. There's something where odd to me, but I don't know how you solve that problem, and it might.
You're right, though. I'm looking
fine
at
once
it,
you've
and
been
it's
playing it
like
for 2 minutes.
in this trailer, it's cutting from gameplay to cutscene, and it is it's a little abrupt when it like move. You know, you lose that in games when you really seamlessly go into a cutscene. you kind
Right.
of lose that because it's like the visual style is kind of like changing immediately, so you're losing that
Yeah.
bit of it, like, you know, camera panning around and then you're in the game. It's a bit more signposted.
It has a little bit of like a PS1 game sort of thing where like the cutscenes are the cutscenes and the gameplay is the gameplay and never
Right.
between shall meet.
Yeah. But it looks cool.
Um,
Cool setting, cool style,
Yeah.
and yeah, looks good.
A World of Warcraft expansion, some footage of Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, which is one of those ones where I love that PS2 game, and this technically looks good, and it looked like it played well, but this upgrade translation has lost the soul of that original one for me somehow, somewhere along the way.
That's a shame. But I didn't play it, so it's fine by me.
Yeah. This will be an
Yeah.
interesting one to see how we all kind of feel about it coming at it from different places. Well, two different places. That's still, hey, that's more than most
You might
people
be
can
fine,
That is multiple.
and maybe I'll end up maybe I'll end up being okay with it. And like, you know, you don't know what you got till it's gone. And if you were never there before they paved Paradise, you'd
Right.
just be like,
Yeah.
wow, what a big parking lot. That's awesome.
It's so
It's
convenient.
so easy to park. It's so easy to park around here.
Yeah, it's seamless.
And it's not one of those parking lots with like the really sharp corners that people scrape their cars up against. It's just
Yeah.
spacious,
Yeah.
easy,
You
decent,
get 3 hours
decent
free,
prices.
which is plenty. It's got the little thing where it just like reads your license plate when you drive in, so you don't have to fuck around with a ticket.
yeah. I
Pay
pissed
by
in the
card
corner.
at the gate.
Pissed in the corner, and the security guard arrested me, and then my goldfish died, and my air conditioner broke.
Oh, that's
I see
great.
if-
You rewrite that song to just be about that Seinfeld episode. That's a good challenge for you for the week.
Don't it always seem to go that they don't have your reservation for the Chinese restaurant that you're at? Sea of Thieves also had it. Yeah, I'm kind of skipping over World of Warcraft and Sea of Thieves and stuff because like those sort of ongoing things we don't have a ton to say about. Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn was one I guess I just don't have any strong feelings about. This looked like your standard, here's a video game. It's out on July 18th.
It did look like a video game. This is just like third-person action game. No existing property, and nothing about this one hooked me. Very much the same.
There is I think there's a demo out, I believe. If it's,
Right.
if it's tickling you.
Well, good for them.
You can't be interested in literally everything. Sorry, folks.
I've got one lifetime. You think that guy, even in the Twilight episode, if he hadn't broke Twilight Zone thing where, you know, he breaks his glasses and he's got the full library and it's
Yeah,
the big
Edward.
irony.
Edward, he breaks his glasses.
Even if his glasses were fine, he wouldn't have read every book. Even if you've got
Yeah, and he
infinite
would've
time,
hated
there's
a lot
some
of it.
books. Exactly. You're just going to skip some.
Yeah.
I don't need to read.
Imagine
Age of-
still feeling like you've wasted some of your infinite time. Jesus Christ.
Maybe that should have been the big irony in it.
Yeah.
Or they come to him
Yeah.
40 years and they're like, by the way, we're kidding. You're dead soon. Fucking sucked in,
Yeah.
dude. Didn't you notice you were aging? No, I was too busy reading. Age of Mythology Retold is a way you can relive the past for yourself. It is a redo of Age of Mythology, which is one of the ones I never actually really played. I think I played a demo of it like when it came out and didn't play the proper game. Loved the Age of Empires games, and this is that, but with Greek gods and stuff. So cool. That's September 4th.
Yeah.
It's a redo, but good for them. There aren't that many RTS games around at the moment. I'm going to go further down the timeline for a bit and come back up. Because the next one they showed
Lifestyle.
chronologically, I want to talk about for a bit.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. We're going, is there a movie that starts at one end and then goes to the end and they meet in the middle?
Well, Memento does that, right? Because it has the backwards bit and then the black and white bit, and they meet up.
But we're not doing that. We're going chronological, and then just halfway through, we're just taking like 10 minutes and just doing that at the end.
Because if I'd have gone whatever the first one was
Yeah.
and then Gears of War E-Day, that would be
Yeah.
Memento.
Yeah, true.
and then gone back. But hey, it's ours to make.
Yeah.
Steve Blum or whatever your name was, Jason Blum,
Steve Jobs.
get on the phone with us. Steve Jobs, you're not returning any of my calls. I don't know why. I've got ideas. Gears of War E-Day was the one they left off with, which was a big surprise to me for a couple of reasons. One, because what the fuck? Why aren't you doing Gears of War 6? You set it up as that it was going to have a sequel 6 years ago after 5 ended, and now you're doing this, but all right.
So this is a prequel.
And also, this is a prequel. This is what happened to Dom and Marcus Phoenix before he's in the jail cell at the start of Gears of War 1.
Right. Cool.
Are we fucking salivating?
I've only played 5, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. And I think the title is stupid, but I'll play it because I did.
E-Day,
Prequel is prequel for like a long running franchise. Like it is kind of a good way of getting new people in. You know, because it's like not a hard reset, but it's like, hey, this is the actual chronological beginning of all of it, so you can get in. I mean, the first like Yakuza I ever played, not that I played a ton of it, but was 0, and I felt like, this is kind of a good jumping off point because I'm not going to get that satisfaction that you get obviously if you've been with this all the way, but it is like it's a storyline starting point. So
a lot of, I think a pretty common thing was like, 5 was okay, and people who've been playing the series for a bit, but like nothing exceptional, people who've been playing for the series for a bit, the new characters like Marcus Phoenix's kid, whatever his name is, it Adam Phoenix? No, that's his dad. Maybe, I don't remember. But him and what's her name, who sort of became them. Like I can't even remember their names, and I don't think those characters connected with people. But people who were playing the first one, the characters never really connected for me either. But like Marcus Phoenix and Dom, they were like the bros. They were the guys. And if you were doing co-op with your mate when you were back in college, dude, in like 2006, this is big nostalgia buttons that it's pressing for you. E-Day is Emergence Day when the monsters showed up.
Right.
Some new variations of Xbox consoles, an all-digital Series X, and some colors. A trailer for Stalker 2, which is still out September 5th, and looked fucking awesome to me. Yeah,
I played I guess the first one. There's only been one other one. And yeah, this looks awesome. I love this, and I love like the fact that it's based on an obscure Russian movie. It's such a fun thing that it's a video game. But yeah,
there were two like sort of semi-sequel / kind of expansion things for that first one too, that I don't know if you had a look in at those, but you could give them a wiggle if you wanted.
I think that's what I'm thinking. That's why I'm confused. I'm sure there was more than one, but so yeah, I think I might have had a dip already. Yeah.
Yeah, there was like, they were weird. It was before it like the sort of side game was even really as codified as it is now, where this looks sick, and I'm looking forward to playing this. I'm so blown away that they are able to put this game out with like, this is developed in Ukraine, and like, good for them. Fucking awesome.
No, they've delayed it too many times. It's fucking bullshit.
Why? Every game these
developer
days.
name too. GSC Game World.
Nice.
Great developer name.
Nice.
I'd love to go there. Ride the roller coaster. Assassin's Creed Shadows, kind of the opposite of a roller coaster because you know exactly what to expect from it, really, but it looks cool.
Yeah. That's all I have to say.
It's an Assassin's Creed game,
and
it is set in Japan. They're going back to it. It looks like clearly this is more of the Origins Odyssey Valhalla style to me, right? Just from the footage in this. There's no actual sort of gameplay, I don't believe, but
as opposed to
HUDless gameplay.
Mirage.
Not Mirage, right?
Yeah.
I got distracted because I had contention with you saying that you don't know what to expect from a roller coaster. You see it. You see the whole thing as you're walking up. You know what you're getting.
If anything, the anticipation of what you know is about to happen is where the fear comes from.
Shit, I guess Assassin's Creed Shadows is a roller coaster.
I guess Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be a fucking awesome game.
the saying like a roller coaster, it means lots of ups and downs, but also implies that it's all been so crazy and unpredictable.
Yeah.
So there's some disparity between the physical coaster and the my life has been type.
Yeah, the idiom.
Well, I guess it's more like the Scooby-Doo roller coaster at Movie World, where it's indoors, so you can't
There we go.
You get no
Right.
visual on it before you go in. You don't know what to expect.
Sure.
The ultimate compromise. The Scooby-Doo coaster.
Scooby-Doo spooky coaster.
God, it solved so many arguments in my life.
Listen. This sounds like a real Scooby-Doo coaster conversation we need to have. Let's save it for then. And then you have it when you're in there and you're like, you know what? What were we even arguing about? Get a load of what the Scooby Gang has to put up with day in, day out.
Yeah,
Our
we
problems
need to
are
team
nothing
up
to theirs.
and band together to find out who's scaring these children at this.
You know what?
creaky
The problem
castle.
is that we were thinking it was you versus me, you know? And it's either us versus the problem or us versus the mayor of the town who keeps putting on a mask and acting like a ghost.
That's right.
How did he get elected? How are people not noticing that he's shirking his mayoral duties?
It's
Surely.
his voice.
Atomfall.
Oh yeah,
He talked.
Atomfall. So this is British Fallout. Fucking bad name. Too many games now called like fucking. There's another one, Odinfall or something. Soundfall.
Yeah.
Atomfall. Unoriginal title and British Fallout. It could be fun. Like I did like.
It rang more as like British Atomic Heart to me,
Yes.
slightly.
There was
Yeah,
also
yeah,
a bit
yeah.
of that. Also a bit of that. I was going to say I did
Yeah.
like Atomic Heart, and that is also like not entirely original, but it literally was like, what if Bioshock or Fallout happened in the Soviet Union? I don't know.
I know. A nuclear disaster in Britain. How would you tell? Oh, it's the people's teeth are all fucked up now.
All right,
Tommy.
mate. Now listen here. Now listen fucking here, cunt.
Yes, I had to get
I'm never
braces.
coming home. I'm on the run. I'm a political prisoner.
All right, Tommy Assange. I don't know. What did you guys think of Atomfall?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know yet. You know,
Yeah.
like it really does seem. It's one of those ones where cool, I guess, man. Like that, you got a telephone box there, which it could be a cool setting,
Yeah.
but nothing in this trailer really says anything in either direction about
Yeah,
what this would end up
exactly.
being like
It
for
being
me.
like
That's-
just reading
that's
that
fair.
log line, it's like, oh, cool, that's a different setting. But then it just, it just looks like you're in a kind of a way. You know, there's nothing, you know, that really makes it look like a
Yeah.
distinctly Britain after a. It just looks like a regular ass
Countryside.
apocalypse kind of game.
Mm.
Yeah.
It is a single-player survival game, apparently. I'm just trying to figure out who's developing it, and that might make some difference. But it's hard to find. New Game Network? No, that's
Rebellion?
news. I have no Rebellion. Don't know who they are.
Okay.
You know
Maybe
what?
This is
Don't care for the attitude. Fall in line.
yeah. This could be like a debut, AA game of theirs, but
Possibly.
yeah.
Well, a developer with a long storied history is Obsidian, and they're getting closer to
yeah.
putting out an Avowed that is still 2024 at some point. No actual dates in 2024 for a couple of the 2024 games we're talking about still, which I found a little strange.
Yeah. I'm still keen for
But-
this. I loved their
Yeah.
their version of Fallout was great. Outer Worlds, their version of Skyrim, I'm sure is also going to be great. There's always good writing, and I'm excited for this. This is going to be cool.
Yeah. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers is set in the late Ming Dynasty and is a Souls-like. It is yet another in this
Yeah.
series of,
What the hell is
quite
going on?
similar games. I don't
know,
know.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember always wanting a game like this to exist. 15 to 20 years ago.
Well, you must be in heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Sekiro, and then I liked Ghost of Tsushima after I played it for a long time, and stopped being depressed about being in a lockdown. Remember, we all hated it for like a
Wait.
week.
You were.
I
you
still
were
think
telling us
that
a few
it's
years ago
just
that you,
Assassin's Creed.
found that monkey paw. Is this your doing?
Yeah, I think this is my doing. But yeah, now there's a glut. There's a glut of these kinds of games.
It does feel a bit like, like I love a pasta bake, but then if you show up to a dinner, like a potluck, and everyone's managed to do a pasta bake somehow, you can only eat so much pasta.
Yep.
That's
a great
it's
analogy.
day 4 of the leftovers.
Thank
it's
you.
like the Sunday night. It was the best lasagna you've ever eaten, and then having to reheat it again on Thursday. You're like, I'm going to jump off a bridge if I have to fucking eat lasagna again.
Well, maybe just walk less far than the bridge and go to McDonald's or something and get some food that's a little bit different for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of this lasagna. I need to cleanse my palate with some McDonald's.
Yeah.
That'll get me back on track.
I'm just trying to think of something quick because it's obviously an emergency if you're off to the bridge.
Yeah, true.
A Gundam-looking sort of Armored Core game, Mecha
Yeah.
Break, was shown. Sure, absolutely. Go for your life.
Yep.
And quite a long trailer with some cinematic stuff showing a bit of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Yeah. I'm having the same problem I had with that movie they did where they de-aged Harrison Ford, where it's just like, that's too Uncanny Valley. It's Troy Baker doing the voice, I think. But
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, you could have made him look just like just a video game version. It doesn't have to be an impersonation of Harrison Ford, but
Well,
it's
and
still good. I
his-
like machine games. You know, I've enjoyed every Wolfenstein game they've made. So, yeah, I'm still down for it.
They love to fuck up Nazis, don't they?
They really do. It's their forte.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Yeah, I think that he's struck an odd middle ground between doing an impression of Harrison Ford and doing a like, well, I should just embody the character and do what comes out of that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
I thought it was sort of weird too, but it's a hard job, and I'm hoping will be one of those things that you settle into after 10 minutes and don't notice.
Yep.
Because I thought it looked cool and captures the sort of indie tone pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll just be a case of whether the first person sort of punching type of gameplay is nailed, because that could be awkward just from the sound of it.
Well, it's like, you know, I imagine a lot of platforming and jumping around and fucking whipping and swinging and like, yeah, that you have to nail that in first person. Like it's not. There were games that were dedicated to exactly that did not translate for a lot of people. So yeah, I have a similar concern, but it does look pretty cool.
I'm optimistic about it. I'm hoping that, you know, you get into it. If they nail the pace and the sort of globetrotty Indiana Jones is so stressed out by this fucking artifact the whole time. If they get all that stuff down, I reckon I'll be into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life is Strange Double Exposure is also coming out. I'm not up to date on the Life is Strange-averse, but I believe this is your character from the first one coming back in a new adventure on October 29th, available for Windows, PC, and Xbox Series X. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, that's kind of a wild guess because I'm looking here at the details and you've got every single one of them correct.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on. But
That's why I'm one of the
crazy.
top 3 roving reporters on this podcast.
I played a bit of the first one, thought it was fine, never really got fully into it, and I don't think played any of the other similar games that they made. So I'm kind of out on this, but I think people were excited that Max is the protagonist's name, is back from them.
News just in, Max Caulfield is the guest that I'm getting in my earpiece.
Okay.
What the? This is scary. Life really is strange. This is fucked up that you're just getting these spot on.
This has been my like Life is Strange superpower the whole time, has been a real smug fuck. I think they make a lot of these games, it seems like, so they must have a big fan base or big enough to, because I just don't really have an exposure to them, let alone a double exposure. The Elder Scrolls Online Gold Road.
Yep.
That's another expansion. Now, look, I guess we're sort of talking expansions again, but not really. This is a full sequel. My brothers.
Yes.
I'm going to play a ton of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, I fear.
Oh.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious me. Yeah, so this is a sequel. This is a full sequel. They announced this already, right? I feel like we knew this was coming. Yeah.
Yeah, they just showed some more footage of it, and all the little bits and bobs you can do, all the funny little flying jobs you get to go and take part in. Someone takes a photo of a deer at one part of the trailer.
Yes.
It looks fucking beautiful. I'm going to fly around. I'm the king of the sky.
Was this a thing you could do in the last one? Because this, I mean, having little jobs that you can do seems like it would appeal to me more playing this with like a little bit of purpose rather than just rather than just kind of flying around. Was this in the previous one?
No, right?
This is 100% more expanded. I think you could sort of set yourself like, I'm flying from here to here. Like, I'm running a commercial flight from here to here.
And there was like DLC some of those for it, right? There was. Yeah. But I feel
but this
like
is more.
Yeah, when this was at first announced, we were like, "Oh, sick! You can be a courier. You can be a fucking, there's stuff to do. You can be a stunt flyer, like stunt pilot flyer."
I think they just showed a few more of those things, and like an air ambulance. I'm gonna recreate the thing with that lady spinning around real fast on the
hell yeah
on the bed underneath the helicopter. You ever seen that, Tommy? Your face is acting as though you've never watched it, because you should.
Not seen it.
Oh, you're in for a hell of a time.
It's a helicopter.
Google. If you look up, I guess after this or now, we could get your live reaction.
Yeah, I'd love to
it's not really
live reaction. What do I look up?
All right. Helicopter rescue spinning lady.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll probably do it. It's called Goatsy.
Helicopter rescue. What swinging lady?
Spinning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I think I have.
You better
seen
not
this.
have actually seen this and just have a bad memory. Come on.
Okay. Yeah. I remember this.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, that is fucked up.
Another great reaction for the internet.
Really traumatized me the first time I saw it, so I think I mentally have blocked it out. Oh.
Imagine.
Doing reactions is a big game on YouTube and Twitch. We should get into the reaction game where every time we react to something like, oh yeah, I saw this actually. Yeah.
No, I have seen this. I have seen this already.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, wait, no. I knew that. Sorry.
I thought I had. I thought I hadn't.
I sent this to you originally, but it's really good.
Yeah.
Still do the entire series of Breaking Bad. We're going like, oh no, I've seen this one.
I did see this one.
Yeah.
I know. Please, still don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, even though I have not done my job here in any way. But I promise next time, I promise I'm going to actually have something I've never watched.
I don't think I've seen season 3 of Breaking Bad, so we'll do that next week. Fuck. Yeah, this
Guys,
is the one.
I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I was just I had to like look at the video before to make sure I hadn't seen it, but now that I'm doing the video, like now I have seen it. Yeah. When I was checking to make sure that I hadn't seen it for the guys, I'm so sorry, but I came close. I came close this time.
I looked up the video to react to it, and then it just really grabbed me, so I watched the whole thing instead of just watching the bit to see that it was the right video, and I didn't film it.
I can recreate it now. I'll do like I'm a good actor. I
remember. I reckon. Whoa! I think my eyebrows went up like so high.
I was in front of a mirror, so I can remember what I looked like.
Mixtape is another game shown. It is from the makers of that game, The Artful Escape, which I think you played, Ben.
Yep.
Is that right?
No, I didn't. I meant to.
No. Hey, that's as good as doing it as far as I'm concerned.
But yeah, this is
that's
like
how I've been living my life.
90s style. What is the actual game type?
Well, teens figuring out the world.
Yeah,
it's got some cool music in it, and I think you're just kind of going about, floating off of rooftops, driving in a car.
Yeah.
There's going to be one of those, this game is about teens type games.
It's doing
I
a
hope
bit
that
more
answers
of
all
that,
your questions.
It's doing a bit more of that stop motion kind of stuff that you were fucking squawking on about before.
It is.
We were also squawking on about Life is Strange, which most of the headlines about this game are comparing it to. So,
okay.
Yeah.
It's a similar looking thing from the outside of, just sort of teens figuring out life, dude. And you know what? Good for them. It's a hard world out there. Especially if you're a tiny little mouse returning home to devastation, which is what Winterborough is about, apparently. And it's like a little survival game where you're a cartoon mouse and you're knocking about building axes and shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
Frag Punk is another 5-on-5 shooter, and this
Yeah.
one has cards where you can alter the rules of the game somewhat by using the card, give your enemies big heads, stuff like that. I hope they, you know,
I wish them well.
I wish them well in their future endeavors. Exactly.
I know this is a big call, but this might be the worst title for a video game I personally have ever heard. I hate it.
We've been on a big fuck this title rampage lately across a few games, and
Yeah.
Frag Punk doesn't bother me that much for whatever reason.
It doesn't bother me, but
not.
it does not entice me in any way.
Yeah. It's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Much like the code for Fable still, which they showed another trailer of, this time with Super Hands, I believe it was.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Super Hands who was in this?
Matthew
I might be wrong
King?
about that.
Matt
It was
King.
someone I recognized.
I
Is it
don't
one of the
remember.
in-betweeners?
It could have been one of the in-betweeners. This was all just CGI,
Another-
right? Like, there's still no gameplay of Fable.
It was like in-engine, it looked like.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was another similar to the Richard Iowati stuff where it's just like, look, we got a British guy, and there was like a little more of stuff that looked like game environments, and there's a couple of shots of like walking behind a character, like walking
sure.
around in a game, but nothing proper still.
Yeah.
But it's looking further along, which you'd fucking bloody hope so, Sonic.
Yeah.
A Diablo 4 expansion that was just a CGI trailer, and then we're meeting back up in the middle with the one that, like, for me stood out the most as I'm surprised to see. I don't often like going like, well, people are reacting like this because, you know, I got my own fucking opinions, man. But
Okay.
people have been real positive on this Perfect Dark trailer, and it really looked like it reeked of smoke and mirrors to me. And you might
Right.
think smoke, I can tell what that smells like. Mirrors, do they have a smell? And like, I think if you get close enough, you'll be able to smell a mirror.
Yeah, I agree. It's glass.
for
Glass
sure.
has to have some kind of smell, especially if you've accidentally touched it, smudged it, perhaps.
But then are you just smelling finger oil?
I guess, yes, but that is a smell, and it's coming off the mirror.
Mathematicians and glass blowers, please write in and tell us if there's any smell to numbers or glass. Yeah, it like this didn't look what I guess I didn't know what to expect this to look like, because Perfect Dark 1 and then 0 had such different looks already, and this is sort of like a reboot thing.
Yeah.
Perfect Dark just...
It's kind of a
Sorry.
weird thing to have any kind of like super positive feeling for, because Perfect Dark originally, it's a Rare game. It was sort of like a unofficial sequel to GoldenEye. That was what was, you know, enticing about it at the time. It's never really stood out to me as having any kind of like distinct personality, and this also now is like, you know, not being made by the people that, you know, did the original one. So it's
No.
you know.
So this is being made by, I forget the name, the Coalition, is that what they're calling them? Maybe it's not that, but some group who Microsoft made internally to make this game.
Right.
Sort of like what 343 Industries was when they were like, we need a Halo team. And I don't know what it was about this. Like, it technically looks good, and I've seen the reaction people are having is like, oh, cool, it's like Deus Ex a bit.
Right. Yeah.
And it just really read as like old-fashioned E3 spec trailer type stuff where like clearly it's
Sure.
in an engine and is like, but it really looks like what they're targeting rather than this showing what I would consider to be like real gameplay. It looks very of that old-fashioned type of smoke and mirrors, which there's nothing necessarily wrong with if you're just putting a trailer together, but like, I don't know, man. A vertical slice, they call it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's something specifically made to show off, not an organic part of gameplay. But like, I mean, maybe you're just more aware that you're being advertised to now, as opposed to when you were a child.
Well, no, I like could see it back then as well, and I don't think trailers do it as much these days. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
no,
the way that they.
I agree, but yeah, but you're right. It just you're more aware than ever that it may not be actually representative of the game, but maybe it is. Who knows?
Yeah, like the ideas, like those last couple of Deus Exes, which if this were drawing from that, which again I think is quite a long a large leap to make. They have a couple of portions of this where they show, like a little machine to record a voice, and then you can play that voice print back for a gate open it. But it all looks like very narrow corridor stuff, and like those sort of items aren't I don't know. I got a very different read off of it to what seems to be a pretty, not universal, but a positive reaction in general to this from people of like, cool, they're doing an immersive sim, which I don't know, brother. This does not come across as that type. Like, I don't know. I'm anxious. I'm hesitant.
You're reserving judgment.
I'm not sold.
Yeah, I never played either of those original ones, and this did not grab me. So yeah, I don't know. I will also be waiting for more information to come to hand.
We'll see. There's no release date yet, and I don't know how valid they are or where they came from. I've just seen reports of them, of the potentially troubled development of this game too, which, building a target, essentially vertical slice thing for what is effectively an E3 trailer. That's an old classic from back in the day, and this really rang all those same bells, and I'm screaming whatever the fuck it is that Hunchback screams. Attica? No, that's Dog Day Afternoon.
My name is Quasimodo.
Let me in! Sanctuary.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't know. Perfect Dark. If it's a good game, I would love that. I don't think this trailer indicates in any direction. I don't think this is a reliable narrator, to use the term that the kids love.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think it looks... And even it being a thing that's meant to be a bit showy, it didn't grab me. Yeah.
Sure, even if it was exactly that. Like, did you guys like those last couple of Deus Ex games?
I did not like the last one, but I liked the one before last.
Either, I don't think.
Yeah.
You're a human revolution sort of a guy, not a mankind divided sort of a man.
Correct.
I've always thought that.
People,
I can read people well.
Will never be defeated. Mankind divided. 4 out of 10.
That's the Xbox thing. That was everything from the Xbox thing, which the amount that, like, we skipped over, briefly a couple of the more expansion-y things, but I do think overall there's more just like, okay, all right, okay, sort of things from that maybe. I don't know. Was there anything that either of you were yanked by from those other ones? Like the Ubisoft one didn't really have anything for me. Devolver Digital and like the PC gaming show also happened. I will say in Devolver there was one that I cannot recall the name of and will not be able to find by the end of this sentence, but it was by the lead designer of Dead Cells and had this like cool 80s anime look, and then was like a pixel beat 'em up sort of thing, and it looked cool.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna have a quick scroll through the Ubisoft stuff. Oh, Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
That looks sick. I'm excited for that. Like we said before, the new Assassin's Creed game could be good, could be bad, who knows, but at least, I don't know, it's something.
I love something sometimes. Sometimes I don't.
That's about it, honestly. There's some DLC for the Avatar game, which I did not play. And they're still doing a Sands of Time remake.
In 2025 now, which blew me away a little bit. Or 2026, I think they even said, sorry. Yeah, that's the year after.
So that's crazy. But we've already seen the Outlaws announcement, and I've remained keen for it.
I thought the gameplay looked like, it could be cool. Yeah. They're doing the stuff about Star Wars that I like it when games do it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. And then
Tenjutsu was the name of the game. I couldn't remember. Tenjutsu. TENJUTSU.
And Angry Foot, also from the Devolver Showcase, looks pretty cool.
I haven't seen the Devolver Showcase yet, but I did go through a giant roundup of all the games in the PC gaming show. There was like fucking 40. I think that would have been awful to watch live. But there were 10% I was interested in. So there's a game called Starbirds, which is from the makers of Dorf Romantic, which was that...
Dude, I love the purple Starbirds and the pink ones. The pink Starbirds are good.
I love cherry Starbirds, personally.
Cherry Starbird's good. Lemon Starbirds is okay. You always seem to get heaps of the orange Starbirds in every pack of them, which I don't know, maybe not my favorite.
Lemon and orange, I think, are the majority, which, like, the lemon gives you that little, like, that little tangy, like, little kick, little sour kick, which I...
Wake you up in the morning.
Yeah, but cherry tastes like Dr. Pepper.
You ever have a Starbird's lollipop? They were great.
I don't think I did.
Oh, dude. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm thinking of Chupa Chups. I've been mispronouncing Chupa Chups this whole time. You said Starbirds.
I'm seeing double here. 4 fucking
800,000 crusty jokes.
Hey, this looks really cool. I'm just skimming the trailer now.
So it's like Dorf Romantic was like a really simple version of like a city builder game where you just got given one tile at a time, and they were hexagonal, and you just connected them from one to the next, and they, you know, it'd be like you want to connect some trees to some other trees, and then you'll have like, you know, on one side it'll be like a grassland. So you just essentially like get one thing at a time and expand it. This is, I think, that, but on spherical planets that you're laying stuff down, connecting stuff.
On 3-dimensional ones,
yes,
because there's a few other shapes, and this is by also with this is a collaboration between the Dorf Romantic people and the people who do Kurzgesagt, which I am probably pronouncing wrong, even though I've heard it said 100 times. They make great YouTube videos. That's where this art style is from, and they're like science explainers, basically. They're very well done. They've put out one game before. Like, they had some VR. I think it might have been a travel through history game. I never ended up playing it. But that is also cool about this.
Yeah, sick. I've been actually playing a lot of Dorf Romantic lately. It's such a chill, calm, you know, satisfying game. So yeah, I thought this looked fantastic. Very excited for this one. There was a game called Toads of the Bayou, which is do you guys remember that tactical strategy game called Into the Breach? It was like small arenas, mechs, and, you know, robots and shit like that. Similar looking sort of arena, like small grid-based arena, but like cool art style. And yeah, I think like vaguely similar sort of gameplay mechanics as well.
Mm-hmm. And anyone developing games like Fragpunk, or what was the name of the game you didn't like, Ben? The game name?
I don't remember.
Maybe what you didn't like about it is that it wasn't memorable. But Toads of the Bayou is the sort of thing where we go like, oh, now there's a name. So you can adjust your expectations as to whether or not to care about our judgment.
Very true.
Based on that.
But
because I like the name cool. Toads of the Bayou.
Yeah.
This looks cool. I'm a big froghead. I love frogs.
Wow.
And so this is
I've
really
said something that sounds pretty close to that a bunch of times.
This is tactical strategy, turn-based, but with like cards and deck building as well, I guess, as your like, powers and attacks and defenses and stuff.
Cool.
But yeah, I thought that one looked really fun. Then there was a game called Fumes, which a demo came out about a few weeks ago already, and I had a little wiggle of that. It is a PS1 graphics looking ass car combat game where you are, I believe, like a courier. It's like a PS1 car combat Death Stranding. And like big sort of vehicles you attack, you have your mounted guns and stuff like that. But yeah, this looks fun. This is a cool idea. We were talking about the Mad Max game recently, and I also jumped back in on that. So I'm primed. My engine is primed for a game like Fumes. Big
old rev head. I'm more of a slitter head myself.
That's disgusting. Don't say that ever again.
I can't. We'll have to talk about it more.
So yeah, Fumes. I'm not sure if the demo's still available, but give it a quiggle. And Mullet Mad Jack, which is a FPS.
That's already out, right?
Yeah, it was released same day, I believe. Yeah,
I think
first-person shooter.
Maybe it was in early access because I've seen people talking
right.
about this for a little bit.
I thought that I'd already heard the name as well. Yeah, maybe it was also a Steam Next Fest demo back the last round of those. But yeah, like cartoony, anime, sort of 80s cyberpunk, neon sort of vibes, and then like a sort of like boomer shooter mechanics. I get the feeling.
It is. Yeah, 15th of May it came out, so I guess they were just doing a bit of promo for it. But this has been one that I've nearly gone in on a couple of times and then didn't for whatever reason, found something else. It does look cool.
Yeah. So those were the ones that stood out to me. Again, like I said, amongst like literally like 50 games. So I'm sure there'll be something for everyone. Go check out a roundup of the PC Gaming Show. Was there anything else in terms of showcases and trailers?
The thing that, and I got to say, I mean, just this like whole kind of like week overall, it really has been like I've been, pretty busy, and there hasn't really been like I've just kind of casually been checking, socials and Discords and stuff. I mean, there really hasn't been anything that's like, punched through and been like, oh, this is really like attention grabbing. If you're not like, if you're not paying like immediate attention to these presentations. But the one thing that interested me was Metal Slug Tactics has a demo out now and has a release date now too. Because that felt like that got announced a while ago and it's been MIA for a bit. So that's exciting, and it looks like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to checking out that demo.
Yeah, I think they just said like end of 2024 for the release date. That looks cool to me too. Right. And there's a demo out of the next Golden Idol game, which I definitely want to get around to. We'll probably talk about a bunch of that stuff next week.
Yeah.
Because the Alan Wake DLC came out. And
I've played, I don't know actually how long the demo is, but I've played like 2 out of 3 of the first cases you get. It mechanically, it's pretty much the same as the first one, with a few little tweaks to like, you have sort of like an over screen of the chapter and like each case, and then I think as you solve each one, an extra case pops up, or like it's an overall. It's hard to tell early days, but I love how it looks in the sequel. That sort of like I don't know how you describe it, but it's like a cartoony sort of very illustrated style as opposed to the first one, which was very pixel arty. I'm obviously, loving it because it's very similar.
From the cover, it looks... would you say it would be an accurate-ish, which I decided to tone down the level of word I was using from accurate to accurate-ish.
I'll give you my non-definitive ruling then.
Thank you. It looks sort of like the cover of like a late 80s funk album.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Sorta.
Yeah, I'm going to take that as 100%.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's almost like collagey, or like it's made out of cardboard, or I don't know. It's cool. I really like it. It's slightly more like you can kind of a little bit more, not detail, but more character, like less sort of weirdly pixelated and old looking. Whatever, it's fucking good so far, and let's talk about it next week.
Absolutely.
Cool.
And probably that Alan Wake DLC, stuff like that's come out of this. I agree with you, Tommy, that I think out of this whole thing, and I guess there's that Nintendo one next week, which we'll also talk about, but as I think we all kind of expected and were primed to be ready for, it's a bit of a down year in terms of big stuff to announce. The cycle of like big, huge games kind of got pretty... a lot aligned at the same time that all sort of came out at a similar time.
Yeah.
So last year was pretty big, and then this year will be a bit flatter, and things are probably not ready to be shown yet. And then next year, I wouldn't be too surprised if not a ton really comes out in some parts of the year, because GTA 6 is next year, which fucking everyone will want to avoid enormously, you'd imagine.
Yeah.
Well, year we'll get early Switch 2 stuff. So
that's true.
It'll be different. Yeah, you're right. We're in the trough. We'll have some peaks coming up, but That's
But what's
like,
weird
a
about
huge
some of
Peak
these
guy.
presentations is like even the big stuff that is out this year, they still didn't date it, even though it's out apparently within the next 6 months. So it's kind of like even that Indiana Jones trailer, it's like, hard to get excited when it's just still like, sometime in the next few months without there being a specific date for it. Seems weird. Yeah.
And like with AAA stuff in particular, which, you know, these sorts of packed events always become focused around. There's probably a ton of cool indie games that we'll end up loving that we've not even noticed yet or have glossed over or whatever. But like with AAA stuff, the development cycles of those games becoming so much longer and more bloated, you can't expect that every year they're going to be all there, because there's only so many studios even capable of making things at that scale. And, you know,
that's fine.
There was some cool stuff, though. I want to play Doom.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, definitely some cool stuff. All right, we're going to wrap it up there for another week. Thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, we'll be back next week to chat. Some of the surprise announcements and demos, and maybe a Nintendo Direct. Thank you for listening. Get on to the Patreon. You can support the show and get a bonus show every week from us. filthycasuals.com.au is where you can find the link, and there's also our YouTube channel on there. We've got hundreds and hundreds of videos of us playing different games. Thank you for listening. We will see you next time, and as we say here at the end of every episode of Filthy Casuals,
please stay tuned after this for yet another showcase even. Half of them said that. It's been crazy, the amount.